A massive data leak has revealed the secret financial dealings of some of the world's richest and most powerful people. The so-called Pandora Papers show how world leaders, business tycoons, and celebrities hide their wealth using tax havens. Now, the investigation was carried out by the International Consortium of Investigative journalists, with partners including DW's Turkish service. It exposed hundreds of high-level politicians and public officials around the world who are linked to offshore accounts. And I'm joined now from Washington, D.C. by Will Fitzgibbon. He's a reporter with the ICIJ, which obtained these records and shared them with a group of news organizations. Very warm welcome to the show. Tell us, first of all, how did these millions of documents from 14 different offshore entities end up in the hands of you and your colleagues?
Well, many of your listeners will know ICIJ from our past investigations, like the Panama Papers investigation. The Pandora Papers really then is another example of what we've been doing for many years, which is obtaining leaked records, especially about the offshore system, and collaborating then with hundreds of journalists to make sure that every country and every potential politician or even criminal in the documents that we have are found, exposed, and reported on.
Now, we heard in that report that the King of Jordan's name appears in the Pandora Papers, as does that of the Czech Prime Minister. I mean, more than 300 public figures in all. What is it that links these cases together?
You're right. The Pandora Papers really is jaw-dropping in the degree to which politicians past and present are represented. We did not expect to find so many politicians when we started searching through these confidential files more than a year ago. And what links them really is power and wealth. These are nearly always powerful and wealthy people who, for whatever reason, actively choose themselves or through their advisors to set up secretive companies in order to make deals or own property in ways that really average people like you and I don't do. If I'm interested in buying a house, I'm going to register it in my name. If I want to sign a contract, I'll do it in my name. And yet the Pandora Papers really reveals how, for many politicians with money and power, they choose to use a secretive system.
Now, just to be clear, is what they are doing here illegal, or is it just that they have found a loophole that benefits the powerful to try and not pay their fair share?
It's an important question. Now, in most countries, but not all, owning a shell company or using a shell company is not in and of itself illegal. And we have not made that assertion in any of our reporting as it relates to the King of Jordan or the Prime Minister of the Czech Republic. But there are issues much more important, or as important, I should say, than illegality. And that is when leaders of countries who represent us, let alone those like the King of Jordan and the Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, who have openly spoken about the need for transparency and the ills of corruption and illicit financial flows. When those people themselves, we find, have not ever disclosed, as in some cases in the Czech Republic, they were required to do so on declaration forms, when they've not disclosed their ownership or ties to shell companies, then really it puts into question the whole transparency model of democracy and the rule of law upon which so many of our societies are based.
And with that in mind, what impact do you hope that these revelations are going to make?
We're a few hours into the Pandora Papers only, and trust me, there are many, many more stories to come. Journalists generally don't think about or plan what impact may or may not happen. What we do know, however, is that there's a huge interest among members of the public, among lawmakers, among the FBI, among all kinds of investigators around the world who for decades have known that shell companies have been central to cases of tax evasion and wrongdoing. And so there is an appetite to reform the system. Really, the question is, are the people in power who we've now revealed to benefit from the offshore system, are they really the right people who will be in a position to fix the ills that we've identified?
Certainly an important question. Thank you so much, Will Fitzgibbon, reporter with the ICIJ in Washington, D.C.
Thank you.